Dear Sissy, aka Sister. Yes, I said it. That's the name your brother gave you when you were born because he couldn't say your first name. Hmm. You grew up in a place called Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn, New York. You were born and raised there. Your mom's name was Brenda and your dad's name was Henry. They separated when you were about a year and a half, right before your baby sister was born. So your mom became a single parent of a 2-year old, 1.5-year old, and a newborn. She raised us the best she could. She gave us everything we needed and wanted. She was she was a wonderful mom. She is a wonderful mom because she's still alive. Girl, you were a tomboy to your heart. You played every game that the boys played, punchball, stickball, skelly. You were always down on your knees playing skelly and mom had to scrub your knees with Brillo. You also played some of the games that the girls played, like double dutch, jacks, hopscotch, and things like that. But you were a stone cold tomboy. You had more tears in your clothes, more shoes scarred up and scraped up because you liked to climb fences. Whatever the boys did, you did. When you were 11 years old, you had a dream about a man being stabbed 3 times on his left side. You couldn't see the face of the man, so you didn't know who it was. But you woke up to your mom hollering and screaming and crying and to find out that your grandfather had just been stabbed the same way the man had been in your dream. You were in bed all day long in pain. You couldn't even get out of the bed. But about 8 o'clock at night, the pain stopped and went away. So you got up and you started cleaning. And when Mom came home from the hospital, you said to her, Mom, I know Grandpa's dead. You don't have to tell me. That was your first experience in someone being murdered. And you dreaming about it right before it happened. When you were 14, you fell in love with the boy across the street named Alvin. Y'all were inseparable. When you saw him, you saw you. When you saw you, you saw him. It was like a match made in heaven. So you thought. When you were 15, Mom decided that she wanted to move to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. You didn't want to go. You tried everything. You tried to get Grandma Dolly to let you stay with her, Nana to let you stay with her. Those are your grandmothers. You tried to get your dad to let you stay down the street with him and his sister Maddie. But Mom said no to everything. So off to St. Thomas you went. You were still so angry when you got to St. Thomas, you became rebellious. So whenever Mom told you don't do, you did. Whenever Mom said, I don't like that person, I don't want you around them, you hung around them even more. When you were 16 years old, you got pregnant and had a miscarriage. And because when you went to the doctor, Mom had already talked to the doctor and told him what to do, and you told the doctor you didn't want to do it, that made Mom even angrier. So she put you out. And you became emancipated at 16 years old. You got pregnant again at 17, had another miscarriage. You stayed in St. Thomas for 4 more years by yourself. And then one day, there was a hurricane that came to St. Thomas. This is the first time you've ever experienced a hurricane. And you prayed to God that if He let you live through this hurricane, you would go back home to New York. God did, and you did. When you returned back home, you and Alvin reunited. You had your first daughter, Charmity, at 22 years old. When you were 3 months pregnant with Charmity, your dad died, and your mom also remarried. Her and your stepfather would be married now for 37 years come August 8th. You and Alvin broke up 6 months after Charmity was born because he wanted to live a life that you didn't want to live. So you had a 6-month-old baby that you had to raise. You became a barmaid and worked in the bars raising your daughter. When you were 27, you had your second child. Her name is Treasure. Treasure's father and you got married. Don't know why, but you did. And you didn't stay together long because he was a street man and he went away to prison for 7 years. So you had 2 daughters that you had to raise by yourself. You went back to school, decided that you wanted to become a teacher. You worked for the New York City Board of Education, but you worked with the pre-K program with the social workers. And it was at that time that you decided teaching wasn't what you wanted to do. Social work was what you wanted to do. So, around that time, in your late 30s, you decided you was going to come visit your sister in California for 2 weeks. You came to visit for 2 weeks, and it's now 22 years since you've been here. You went back to school, graduated at the age of 50 with your bachelor's degree in social work and liberal arts. You have 6 grandkids. You raised your 2 daughters on your own and raised many more children on your own. Sometimes you had a floor full of children that you had to step over. But you have your grandkids. You have a beautiful life. Your 2 daughters are wonderful. They're both accountants. They both work together in the same job. You have 2 of your grandkids that are going off to college right now. They just graduated from high school and on their way to college. Girl, with all the trials and tribulations you've been through, you made it, you did it, and God willing, you will be 59 years old on your next birthday in November.